All right, let's talk about the invisible threats that can live inside our machines, computer viruses. We're going to break down exactly how this digital contagion gets started, how it spreads, and most importantly, how you can be the one to stop it.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. It all starts with something so simple, an action we do 100 times a day without even thinking. But in the world of cybersecurity, that one tiny action can kick off a huge problem.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if just one single file could compromise everything? All your documents, your photos, your private information, gone. It's not science fiction, folks. That's the reality of a computer virus.
That is literally all it takes. One click to open an email attachment, one click on a sketchy download, and from that one point, a virus can just explode. Replicating and spreading at an incredible speed, it turns your healthy computer into a digital patient zero.
Okay, so what exactly are we talking about when we say virus? It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but its meaning is actually very specific. And you'll see the analogy to a biological virus is, well, it's surprisingly spot on.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. A virus is basically a parasite. It can't survive on its own. It absolutely needs a host, like a file or a program, to latch onto. And it only wakes up and springs into action when you, the user, run that infected file. And this is where that biology comparison just clicks perfectly. A biological virus hijacks a cell to make copies of itself, right? Well, a computer virus does the exact same thing, but it hijacks a program's code. It uses that program to spread to other files and then to other computers, causing this massive system-wide illness.
So, understanding how this all goes down is the key to understanding the threat. A virus doesn't just show up and create random chaos. Nope, it follows a very predictable three-stage pattern of attack.
Let's walk through it. First up is the execute phase. That's the click we were just talking about. You run a program and boom, the virus wakes up. Next, it moves to the infect phase. The virus immediately starts making copies of itself, weaving its nasty code into other files on your computer. And finally, you get the damage phase. This is when the virus delivers its payload, and that can be anything from a silly message on your screen to deleting critical files or grinding your system to a halt.
Now, of course, not all viruses are built the same. They've evolved over time into all these different strains, and each one has its own special way of attacking. So let's look at some of the most common types you might run into.
First, you've got the classic, the file infector. This is kind of the original gangster of viruses. It targets the very heart of your software, those .exe files. So when you think you're just launching a trusted app, you're actually launching the hidden virus right along with it. Then there are macroviruses, and these are particularly sneaky. Why? Because they hide in files we use and trust every single day, like Word docs or Excel spreadsheets. They use the software's own macro language to run their code. The famous malicious virus did this back in 1999 and spread to millions of computers through email. Now this one is a deep, deep threat. It used to be really common back in the floppy disk days. A boot sector virus infects the master boot record of a hard drive. What that means is the virus loads into your computer's memory before your operating system even starts. That gives it fundamental control over your entire machine. Yikes. And this brings us to the endless cat and mouse game between attackers and defenders. A polymorphic virus actually changes its own code every time it infects a new file. It's like a shapeshifter. This makes it a constantly moving target that's way, way harder for antivirus software to catch.
So how do all these nasty things get around? Well, the methods are deceptively simple and probably pretty familiar. We're talking about infected email attachments, shady downloads from the web, a shared USB drive. Each one of these is a potential taxi for a digital infection.
All right, I know, that all sounds pretty intimidating. But here's the really good news. Defending yourself isn't actually that complicated. Building a strong digital defense is all about developing a few simple but super powerful habits. So first things first, get some good antivirus software. And this is key, keep it updated. That's your front line. Second, keep everything else updated too, your operating system, your apps. Those updates often patch up the very security holes that viruses love to sneak through. And finally, the most important tool of all, your own caution. Just think before you click.
And that leads us to maybe the single biggest takeaway from all of this. A virus is just useless, dormant code until a person, a user, gives it permission to run. It's totally powerless on its own. Every single infection needs an action from you to kick it off.
And what that really means is that the ultimate line of defense isn't some fancy piece of software. It's you. By being careful, by being mindful of what you download and what you run, you become the gatekeeper of your own digital world. The power to stop the infection, it is, and it always will be, in your hands.